Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished digital marketing expert from the Philippines, Desiree Jane Montejo. Des, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ash.
Uh, This is, as I mentioned, a digital marketing expert for coaches and consultants. So, let's start talking about the kind of work that you do. So, tell me a little bit about the work that you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Desiree, and I've been doing digital marketing for coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs for 2 years now.
Mhm.
So I've helped them with copywriting, email marketing, landing pages, social media marketing and management, lead generation, and have been providing digital marketing strategies they can use also for their businesses. Yeah, also based on my, on my research, just want to share this. That's it's very important to share daily value post and
Mhm.
edutainment content on your network because it
Mhm.
really attracts the right people and your ideal clients also.
Mhm.
So that's brief story of what I do.
Very interesting. So, that's one of the challenges that everybody seems to face in this incredibly fast moving digital world is how do I build a brand? You have been doing this for many years for coaches, consultants, and now you're getting into other areas. Tell me what goes into building a digital brand.
Yeah, based on my experience, I've been experiencing or having challenges with procrastination and clarity.
Mm-hmm.
I procrastinate on tasks that I already planned in
Mm-hmm.
my planner because of not having clarity on what my goals are, which leads me to be stuck in whatever I wanted to do. So, it's really true that procrastination is something to do with attitude, and I
Mm-hmm.
must conquer it. I must do things that needs to be done, regardless if it's perfect or not. So, all the time, having done is better than perfect. And as I move toward my goals, each day brings me wisdom and clarity on what my goals and purpose are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason also why I niche down because I now have the clarity on what my vision and goals are and also my purpose. So yeah, those are the two challenges I've been experiencing in building my brand. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I believe I keep on improving every day. And I
Okay.
think that's a good news.
Well said. Well said. And one of the other challenges that a lot of people try to understand is there are so many different platforms. If you look at the big ones like a LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, um, how does someone decide which platform to select?
That's a good question. Actually, I always suggest to choose a platform where your target market or ideal clients are active or are hanging out because it's easier to sell or offer your products, the right products or services in
Mm.
front of the right people.
And when you work with coaches and consultants and areas of leadership, what are some of the challenges you face?
Um, I think it's having the consistency
Mm.
and grit are some challenges also I've experienced even up until now. And
Mm.
when it comes to doing the right things for my business, a lot of distractions are everywhere. So I must really choose what emotions should I entertain in a day, the things and even people that are important for my growth and for my business. I must also follow and do actions every day and make them as my daily habit.
Mhm.
Because I believe that when you become habitual of what you do, it's a lot easier to do them, even if the days are bad.
Mm. So, just tell me, you must have worked with many coaches. Without giving any names, can you share with us how you have helped someone build a brand for coaching?
Yes, sure. Definitely. Recently, I had a client. She's a high performance coach.
Mm.
She's offering more of a somatic coaching experience
Mhm.
for executive people. So actually, she's been in the coaching industry for I think 2 to 3 years
Mm,
already.
mm,
And yeah, on LinkedIn, we were really focused on her LinkedIn channel.
mm,
So I've helped her, optimize her LinkedIn profile to make it uh, attractive to
mhm,
the right people or through their ideal clients. And then
mm,
I did her social media content or LinkedIn content post
mm,
daily, and writing her LinkedIn newsletters and articles as well. So
mhm,
she really told me that it really helped her a lot. You
mm,
know, it attracts her more opportunities, and she even closed clients when working with me. I also help her with lead generation, and that type of lead generation is connecting to the right people,
mm,
scheduling calls with her by doing some networking,
mhm,
personal messaging, because that's very important. Reaching out also to her target market
mm.
helps her build her brand.
And from people who are looking at all your posts, do you get any feedback on what are their expectations about the communications that you are generating?
Yes, in fact, I got leads also that are scheduling calls with me because of my post. Because what I really post on my social media platform, especially on LinkedIn, is that valuable content that would really address their biggest problems or
Mm,
challenges they're having in their business. And
mm,
uh, actually, that's one of the ways I'm doing. One of the most effective ways I'm doing to interact with them, having a conversation with them through my posts. So
mm,
it really helps me also,
mm,
build my list or
mm.
build leads.
Interesting. So, Des, you also mentioned that you help your clients to fine tune their LinkedIn profile. Can you give our viewers and listeners a few tips on how they can improve their profile?
Yes, of course. First of all, you need to optimize your profile. So
Mhm,
when I say optimizing your profile, you need to be more specific on
mhm,
who the people you wanted to help with, and what transformation or services you are offering with them.
mm,
It's very important that even your short bio on your profile, it
mm,
must attract them by saying how you wanted to transform your ideal clients. And
mm,
then create your LinkedIn banner, have an SEO based
mm,
for the content or your about section, ask recommendations, testimonials from your clients. And then
mm,
it's very important to really at least have for if you're just starting on LinkedIn, have at least 10
mm,
um, LinkedIn articles that you can share and have it featured on your profile. And then just continue adding people who are part of your network.
mm,
Do networking, do reaching out to them, because it's really important. And
mm,
don't forget also to share valuable content on a daily basis.
mhm. So, what you're really saying is consistency is very important on LinkedIn. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. And how do you measure performance of all the posts that you are putting out on LinkedIn?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of data that we can gather on LinkedIn
Mhm,
to measure the performance, and
mm,
to make it more effective and what to focus on. We need to be clear on what the goals are in
uh-huh,
using LinkedIn. In my
mm,
experience, people are using LinkedIn to attract prospective clients, then getting them into their calendars for a coffee date. That's a
mhm,
start. And to measure it, I always suggest to them to put a
mm,
question on their scheduling tool or Calendly maybe, and ask where they find you.
mhm,
Because even in that simple question, you'd be able to identify that your LinkedIn strategies are working because people are, scheduling calls with you. People
mhm.
are attracted to your services. So
Mm.
that's really a good news already that your LinkedIn strategies are really working. So
Interesting. Um, Des, you work with coaches and consultants. What are some of the areas of their work do you highlight to be able to get them more clients?
Yeah, I think it's very important to highlight authenticity and be more intentional in helping people, because
Mm,
having this aspects makes them stand out in their industry, and it just attracts
mm,
what they need, like the kind of people they want to work with, and more opportunities as well.
mm, mm. Can you give me an example of where you have made a big difference without any names,
Yeah,
of course?
yeah. Basically, what I can think of right now is when I help my clients, building their brand, showcasing their services in front of the right people. Because since I've been doing their LinkedIn post and also doing their lead generation, so it really helped them attract the right people. So I
Mm,
think that's already a huge win for me. At the same
mhm,
time, huge win also for my clients.
mm. And what got you started as a digital marketing guru?
Yeah, actually, before starting this business
Mhm,
or digital marketing strategies, I
mm.
was a government employee.
Okay.
So I resigned, and because I believe that my dream is in line with digital marketing,
Mhm,
and I really wanted to achieve that. It's very important to really move forward towards your goal.
mm,
um, so that's why I resigned and enrolled in courses that would help me build up my freelancing or digital marketing business.
mm,
And that's why I'm here. And it's as the days goes by, you get clearer and clearer
mm,
on your goals and what you want to achieve, and also your purpose, why you are in that industry or in that career. So I believe I already got my purpose, and that is
mm.
to serve more people, or bring their message, especially for coaches, bring their messages in front of the right people.
Oh, wonderful. There is another interesting development in digital marketing, which is a whole new breed of influencers. How can a
Mhm.
coach or a consultant use an influencer to increase their own reach?
Yeah, this new breed of influencers, or actually what we call micro influencers,
Mhm,
brings value in a way that they can increase the views and engagements of a
mhm,
post or ads, which attract the right people in their market. However, there are problems in taking advantage of these influencers
mm,
for coaches, because sometimes what they're sharing on social media is exaggerated, and
mm,
people will identify them as scams. We don't want that. So instead of helping people with the transformation they desire, it will
mm,
happen because I think that's where expectation versus reality meets.
mm,
So we don't want that. We want authentic connections to our ideal clients, and we want to make sure that their service will really transform the people that they wanted to serve.
mm. My other question is that digital media moves at a very, very fast speed. It's literally nanoseconds.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you ensure that your message is actually being seen or heard by people? Because by the time I log in, thousands of messages have already become old and redundant.
Yeah, yeah. I understand.
So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, in that case, I'm also doing research every day how to make your message stand out in the competition or in the market that you're serving.
Mm,
So that's where consistency comes in.
mhm,
So being consistent in posting your daily post, and making it sure that you know um, it's updated. It talks about the challenges of your market.
mm,
It talks about what the world is talking about, because it's actually one being consistent in showing up or posting your content on a
mhm, mm,
platform. Hacks the that's the platform's algorithm. So
mm,
it's very important that you need to do that on a daily basis consistently, to make sure that your message will really appear on top of the feeds of your audience.
mm.
Yeah.
The other challenge of social media is that it is global, right? So But if I'm sitting in one country as a coach or a consultant, I'd like to be able to focus on that one country. How do I ensure that the amount of money I'm going to invest is not wasted in countries that I have no interest in?
Yeah, that's where consistently connecting to the right market. So, for
Mm,
example, for example, in my case, I'm from the Philippines, and I'm targeting coaches in the US. So,
mhm,
since I'm using LinkedIn platform, I always make sure that I add people in
mm,
that specific country, and then offer my services to them. Also, that's an organic way of
mhm,
targeting the right people that you wanted to serve with. Another way would be paid advertising. If you really wanted to um, to pay for an advertising, then
mhm,
you must have a budget for that.
mm,
And yeah, I think both are very effective in really
mm,
getting clients, because
mm,
I believe that in doing that, you're also getting your return of investment. You're getting more when you do that
mm,
consistently.
mm. Interesting. So, time for one more question. When I was reading about you, you also talk about supporting your clients to have a healthy work-life balance.
Mhm.
Tell me about what you do here for your clients.
Yeah, so marketing and coaching are really different. So I always assure them that I'm the expert in handling their marketing, so they can just focus on their coaching business and their
Mhm,
clients. So
mhm,
we just don't work, but we are also, having fun, even through quick conversations or meeting, and also learning from each other. And yeah, when I work with clients, I always treat their business as mine too.
mhm,
So it's kind of a work life balance.
mm. Very interesting. Des, on that note, thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for sharing with me so much about your understanding of digital marketing and all the amazing work that you're doing for so many of your clients. Thank you again and good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ash. And it's nice talking to you, and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.